Hello everyone, this is Mike. I'm going to go over this brand new Durango Gold 391 with 3200 watt solar panels and dual phase Victron inverter system installed. We have a number of other upgrades that we've done to this trailer, and we will go through every one in this video. This is not a video to show you the interior and features of this motorhome. That will be attached to the end of this video, which is a standard video from K-Z. We will primarily be going through all the custom upgrades that we've done to this trailer. As you see from this view, we've installed black trim solar panels with black hardware. So from the side view, if you look along the top of the roof, you can barely see the silhouette of the solar panels. As we travel around the motorhome, you'll see that we've also, on the back of this motorhome, we've installed a pole attached to the ladder, which we can use for installing a Starlink satellite dish. There's also on the top, beside the ladder, we've run all the Starlink cables pre-installed through the roof to the back here, to the entertainment system inside the unit. So when you install your RV satellite Starlink dish, all you have to do is plug in the Wi-Fi unit at the entertainment center and everything will work correctly. This unit has a 6-point leveling system and a full fiberglass cap that goes all the way along the top to the vinyl roof. I will be doing a drone video of the roof to show you the layout of the solar panels, and then we'll go through the solar panel system. Okay, this is the drone footage of the rooftop installation for the solar panels. You notice we used all black frame solar panels. These are special 200 watt 48 volt solar panels that we tied in 8 strings of 2 panels each. We did this to increase the efficiency and reduce the adverse effects of shading. We wired everything through the under roof. There are 8 connection points for the solar panels on the roof. We also wired HDMI cables to the TVs, Starlink cable to the rear of this unit, all embedded in the roof so they're out of the way and safely tucked away. We've installed a WineGuard satellite dish, which is capable of working with the Bell satellite system, installed in the center of the coach there. This coach comes with 2 air conditioners, 5 slides. The difference between this and the 2022 model is it has a 5th slide, which is a wardrobe slide in the bedroom, which increases the master bedroom area. We will now move to take a look at the interior features that we altered on this coach, and hopefully you will see that these are a massive improvement to your RV experience. Okay, we're entering up the stairs, entering into the coach here. I'm going to take you through some of the things that we've done in this coach to make it a lot better RVing experience. The first thing I'll take you to is the fridge here. Now, on these fridges, they just had a little tiny bungee cord keeping the doors from open. And anybody that's RV'd before knows that once you load your fridge up, the doors become quite heavy, and it actually created a problem. So what we did is we installed these pins. You pull the pin, open the lever, and now the doors will open. This will lock the doors, and then you can close the pin, put the pin back in as a safety so that the lever can't slide this way, and now it's a solid close on the door. And then we've put this little hook here where you can hook your pins. We've also added a strap for the top of the range to keep these grills on, because they fly off and they are very heavy and they will damage, dent, or destroy something in your motorhome. Another thing that K-Z didn't do was they give you 2 extra chairs for this dinette, and you can pull the dinette out, but because the the height of the slide is about 1.5 inches higher than the other floor, the chair did not sit level. It sat at an angle on the outside. So we added height adjustment screws, pads on the 2 outside legs of 2 of the chairs, and that way you can make the chairs level to sit at the table, and it made a big difference. The other thing we did is to all the drawers here, we added 7-pound catches so that the doors wouldn't open. On the entertainment, we've added this rug and a coffee table that sits on the rug. Right now the coffee table is strapped to the master bed, and I'll show you why we did that. We did that for traveling because these 2 slides will slide in and gives you no room. For the entertainment system, we added a 4x4 matrix with 4 inputs and 4 outputs. So you could bring in your Apple TV or your Fire Stick or whatever, hook it up to here, and then you can select which TVs get the signal, or all TVs get the signal. We've also added a Bell satellite dish because we've installed a Bell Winegard Bell receiver auto tracking on the roof. So that will give you unlimited channels as long as you subscribe to their service and you have clear line of sight for the satellite dish to track. On the side here, we have your cable connections that run through the roof to the back. For the Starlink dish, there's a Cat5 cable and a Starlink cable. Over here, we've added a switch to turn on your Furrion cameras outside to give them power. We've also added a switch to turn on and off your satellite dish on the top. Moving inside the coach here to the back. We're not going to show you too many features of the coach here. We're just going to show you things that we did. Here's the coffee table upside down with 4 pull-out stools. We put strap latches on the bottom of the bed so that you can strap this onto the bed when you travel, and then when you're at your location, you can take the straps off and carry the coffee table into the main room. We thought that was an elegant way to store the coffee table. We also installed these 2 higher end washer and dryer, and we also put this, we put some things up here for you, this shelf up top so you can store your laundry liquid. Now this is a very solid install. We've got screw inserts on the side screwing both of the washers and dryers together so they cannot move. And when not in use, you can close the door and you've got just a nice closet door here. Full king bed. In the TV here, we have installed at the back of the TV, this 32-inch TV, we've installed HDMI cables, run through the roof again for all TVs, back to the entertainment center. And that works with the matrix switcher, so you can run any type of programming. The coach manufacturer only runs coax. I don't know why they don't run HDMI these days. Coax is, I don't know how far back in the days. Kids probably don't even know what coax is anymore. We also installed remote transmitters and receivers so that if you have any components in the main entertainment area, you can use the remotes in here and you don't have to get up and go to the receiver to change selections. We will now show you one last upgrade that we did inside the coach. I'll just stabilize the camera here and walk around for you. Okay, what we did, this coach comes with 2 pull-out full beds, one on each side. The problem was, because these couches are sitting on slides which are about 1.5 inches higher, the manufacturer put the same height legs on these as they did the couches. So what you had was the level of this couch was way up here and didn't match the height of the 2 chairs there. And then when you sat down and you put your legs, for shorter people, they barely hit the ground. So what we did is we cut off the legs and we made new 3/4 inch legs to bring the height of these couches in with the same height of the rest of the furniture. It also made it a lot easier to level the bed when you pull out the bed. Now I'm going to pull out this bed and I'm going to show you what changes we did on this bed. So to pull out this bed, you just remove the cushion backs, and then you lift up the front of the bed, pull out the legs, pull out the top, and the bed will now sit. Now, what we included with this is we've purchased, and it fits nicely under the bed here. This is a 2-inch memory foam topper that we shrink wrapped in a vacuum bag and put straps on so it wouldn't expand. And they store nicely right underneath the couch. So once the couch is laid out, you can put this on top and you have a nice comfortable bed. Now what we found is, because this is a little bit slight of a curve, the manufacturer made this part of the bed downhill, and it was very uncomfortable to lie on. So what we did to make this work a little bit better is we glued a 2-inch memory foam section to the back of the seat. And what this did is it raised this part of the bed so that when you put the foam 2-inch memory foam topper on, you get a nice straight level bed, and it is more comfortable to sleep in. And we did this to both beds, and it just nicely disappears when you fold the bed up. And when you put the bed away, all you have to do is pop it down, close the arms, and the bed will sit flat. And then you can put your backings back on. And your living room's ready to use. Now, what you would do in a situation where you would use these beds is you would slide the coffee table over. You could pull out one bed, and then in the morning you would carry the topper. You don't have to roll it back up and put it in shrink wrap and put it under the bed. You would carry the topper and put it on the master bed in the master bedroom, and then at night you can unfold the bed again and carry the topper back and until you're ready to go. And then you can shrink wrap with the built-in vacuum system that comes with the unit, re-shrink the mattress, roll it up, and put it underneath the bed for storage. That's it for the internal features that we changed on this coach. We will now move outside and show you some of the inverter and solar features. Okay, we're now outside the unit. I'll just go through some changes we made to the unit outside here. First of all, up here we installed a chrome dryer vent to exhaust all the dryer heat out of the unit. Makes for less moisture inside the unit. As we go walking around the unit, you will see that we have our large storage bay here, and on the back wall there is where we installed all our solar equipment and inverter equipment, and we'll go through that later on in this video. On the door here and on the side, we've installed our Furrion camera system. There's one of these on each side. These are our right and left marker lights and camera to view, and you can view that camera inside the coach on this little display here. And this display, you can take it into your vehicle, and therefore when you're driving you can view your rear of your unit and your right and left, and utilize the camera system when you're driving. We've also installed a electronic keypad with 2 key fobs, which replaces just the standard door lock that comes standard with the unit. Up top here, there's a 4th camera, which is an entry camera. So when you're inside the coach, you can see who's at your front door, who's on your patio at night, or if somebody's coming to your unit, you can see who it is before you open the door. We're just going to walk around now to the other side of the unit. Now, this is over here is the battery bay, and we will go through that again later on in this video. Coming to this side here, we have our propane storage area, and what we've done here is in the storage area, so let me open it up here, is you have two 30-pound propane tanks, and we've added ultrasonic tank measurement to tell you how much propane is left in your tank. They're Bluetooth, they connect to your cell phone, and you will be able to see the levels of your tanks without guessing which one's full and which one's not. This has an auto changeover switch, so you can set it to one tank. It'll deplete this entire tank before it uses the second tank, and then when it's totally depleted, it'll automatically switch to this tank. You could remove this tank and get it filled without shutting down the system. Comes with a Lippert auto height and auto leveling jack system, 6-point leveling. In the bay here, we've added, I'll just move this out of the way, we've added electronic sewer gate valves for all the sewer tanks. The gray tanks, there's two gray tanks in this unit, one at the back, one mid, and one black tank, which is mid also. So we've removed all the manual pull levers from below and added these electronic shift gates. So all you have to do is press the button, it'll open the gate, and then you can press the button to close. It makes it very clean and convenient for emptying the sewage tanks. Here's another one of the markers with the camera for the Furon camera system. As we'll discuss later on with the inverter system, here is your two plugs that we have externally on the system. One is for going directly through the inverter, and one is bypass. Now what the bypass is for is that if something ever happens to your inverter system or your solar system, or the system just doesn't work and you're in a campground, you can switch to the bypass connection. And the system, we've wired the system so it'll bypass everything that we've done to the coach and take you back to standard wiring. And then everything will work for you, and then when you come back or from your trip or whatever, if you're diagnosing a problem, you can fix the problem and then go back to inverter. It's just a safety measure so that you're not stuck somewhere with no power and you have no way to get power. Moving along, we've altered the waste removal system. They had two of them on here. They had two ports for discharging all your sewage. They had one here, and they had one 25 feet away at the back, which made it, in my view, very inconvenient to hook up for an RV site and also to discharge your sewage. So we ran a 2-inch sewer line all the way from the back and joined it in with this cam style sewer using the Sewer Master hoses, which is the best hoses on the market. And we'll just move to the back here, and I'll show you what we did. Hopefully you can see underneath here. So we've added an ABS hatch so you can get access to the electric sewer gate if you have any issues. We also plumbed a 2-inch sewer hose that goes all the way underneath the suspension system and connects up with the main tank discharge at the front. The hose is high enough so that the axles on the trailer bottom out before they hit the installed ABS hose. We've also installed onto these tires. These are high pressure 120 PSI trailer tires using high pressure valves. So standard tire pressure sensors that you can purchase for your GMC and Ford only go up to 100 PSI and are not meant for high pressure valve stems. We ordered special ones from the States and installed them in each tire. They go up to 145 PSI. They will measure your temperature of your tire and your pressure of your tire constantly while you're driving. And on your dash, if you're equipped with the tire pressure monitoring system in your truck, it will inform you if there's any issues with your tires. Moving to the back of the coach here now. What we've installed on the ladder here is a 24-foot mast, which you can extend manually by just unscrewing the sections and pushing up. You would install your Starlink satellite dish on the top, and in that little gray cage on the top, we've plumbed all your Starlink cables from the main entertainment system so that it's easy to hook up a Starlink dish. You also have your Furrion rear camera system installed here so you can watch the back of your coach. And that's it for the Durango Gold additions that we've added to the coach on the exterior. Okay, we're in the front of the coach, or the fifth wheel, where the generator could go. This is the generator bay. It has a steel base. These are the front shocks. We've installed the two Dakota Lithium ion 48 volt 96 amp hour batteries. We made a custom aluminum frame lined with rubber. We have an extra spot here for a third battery if you want to increase your storage wattage from 10,000 watts to 15,000 watts. The batteries are approximately $3,700 each. They're the best batteries on the market. They come with a 11-year replacement warranty, not prorated. Anything goes wrong with these batteries, they'll look after you and get you batteries that work. They work to minus 20 C. So there are probably the best batteries out on the market. We've installed little on the positive. When you put the batteries in parallel, the manufacturer recommends that you put fuses or breakers between the positive parallel connections, and we've put 175 amp positive fuse blocks here, which will pop if any battery draws more than 175 amps between batteries. We made a custom panel here, aluminum panel, to hold all the equipment for this battery install. We have our MPPT solar charger that will take all the power from the solar panels and charge the battery or feed the inverters, which are up in the next bay, which we'll show you in a few minutes. Everything's installed on bus bars. We have our 48 volt battery disconnect. We have our MPPT solar disconnect, plus a 70 amp breaker here, which is required by the manufacturer when connecting this solar charger. We also have a smart shunt, 300 amp smart shunt. This smart shunt will tell us how much energy is in the battery, how much is being used at any time and being drawn from the battery. Everything's enclosed here. There's no place where you can typically get shocked. So it's a professional install. Everything's labeled and ready to go. Well, I'll take you to the bay now, and I'll show you the inverter installations. Okay, this is the main storage bay of this K-Z fifth wheel. There is only one in this fifth wheel. It's a large bay. This panel here, where we've installed all our equipment, was a solid wood panel all the way across. There was nothing on this panel except for this little JBL sound box thing here that you can turn on and off. We've put everything behind this panel, taking up none of the standard storage space in this unit. Well, I'll go through all the things that we did here. We installed, first of all, we installed this main breaker box here. Now the purpose of this is all the power comes through this box first, goes to the main breaker box in the RV that came standard, and the other breaker is to feed our 240 volt dryer. RVs are not meant to be 240 volts, so do not play with trying to get a 240 volt item working in a standard RV breaker box. They're not designed to handle 240 volt. So we've put in a standard breaker box which can handle 240 volt. We fed both legs in here from the inverters. This is the point at which the power diverts to the coach or diverts to the 240 volt dryers.
The dryers that we installed here, the reason we went 240 volt is because it gives you better heat. It dries better. It's only 10 amps of power when you're drying, so it was a good solution for this coach. We ran our own 30 amp cable to the dryer and back to this box. We've changed nothing in this coach from its standard wiring. So basically, there on the outside of the coach, which I'll show you, we have two plugs. One's called an inverter plug for your shoreline, and one's called a bypass. If anything ever happens with your solar system or your inverters and you can't get things running, you can always change your shoreline power to the bypass and you will go back to factory standard wiring. And that's what this automatic transfer switch is for. People use this for switching between generators and shore power. We've used it to switch between inverter and a bypass in case you have any issues. So it's just a safety system in case you're stuck, can't get things running, don't know how. You can easily switch your power over to the bypass and everything will work from standard power as it came from the manufacturer. We also made this solar panel fuse box, and this is your string box. So the solar panels on the roof are all done in pairs. So we have 16 panels. Each panel in series, there's 2 panels for a total of 8 strings. The reason we did this is because we're trying to maximize the number of parallel panels due to shading or anything that will affect a single panel. So technically, if one panel is shaded, it will only affect the power on the second panel. All the other panels will work at full power. If you put all the panels in series, or half of the, let's say 8 of them in series and the other 8 in series, if you get shading on one of the panels and let's say it drops the wattage from 150 watts down to 10 watts, all the other panels can only put out 10 watts. So this was a lot more wiring, but it gives us the maximum capability of the solar panels under RVing conditions. In this panel here, you have individual fuses for each of the pairs of solar panels. You have a main breaker to switch off the power. It's protected by a plastic case, so you can't stick your fingers in there. And it also has surge protection and drainage that works one time. Once those things turn red or they go from green, that means you've had a spike and you have to replace that module. Now this panel can be removed easily by removing the screws, and the panel pulls off. I'm just going to jump in the coach here and I'm going to show you the inverter box. So what we did for the inverter is we built it into a 30-inch by 30-inch cabinet, a gladiator cabinet. This cabinet is just a shroud, so you can easily remove the cabinet by removing the screws, and you can pull out the cabinet. We've designed the inverter systems to sit on a custom manufactured plate, which is screwed with 4 bolts to a main metal frame in the back. So if you have to get behind it or to service it, you could take the 4 bolts off and pull the whole system forward. There are quick connect cables at the back, so everything's quick connect, so technically you can remove the whole system for servicing or take it out just by removing 3 or 4 cables at the back. This system is a 2 inverter system. That way we get 240 volt on 2 phase. We have an L1 and an L2 line, which is typically what a 50 amp shore power from an RV site is giving you. 2 separate lines, line 1 and line 2. We have a links distribution box at the bottom, which is just a fancy bus bar. We have disconnects for the inverters. We also have the Cebro GX controller, which is a Victron controller that controls everything in the system and decides when solar is going to be used, decides when it's going to charge from, or it's going to take power from the grid. These, each of these multi-pluses can do a maximum of 3,500 watts. So you'll get 7,000 watts boost out of this. They like running at 6,000, which is more than what everything turned on in this motorhome can use. The beauty of this system is we've programmed it so that if you plug into a 30 amp shore power, one of the inverters will connect to the power, the other inverter will work off battery, and you will still get 50 amp even though you're plugged into a 30 amp service. The system will use solar and the battery to supplement the extra energy needed to give you 50 amp. So you never have to worry about what power in what campsite. Even if you went to a 15 amp power in a campsite, this will use as much as the 50 amp as it could, and then it will take the rest from battery, and then this one will only use battery. If you plug into a 50 amp site, both of them will automatically switch to shore power and will charge your batteries and feed the coach with shore power. It's automatic switching, so in other words, if you had computers or anything like that, it's millisecond switching, so you won't lose any power. It's in a nice cabinet, which you can lock if you don't want any fingers in there. We've also labeled everything nicely so you know where the turnoffs are and so on and so forth. It's open at the back. The case is open at the bottom and the top for cooling, so it'll give you years and years of service with no trouble. You can close the doors, you can lock them, and then you can fill up the storage bay. Now we've also, in this storage bay, we've installed these rails, which you can do clip so that you can do tie downs if you want to tie down your cargo. Up in this area here, we've run Cat 5 for a TV that you can mount on this wall, or a custom slide out TV from the roof that we have. We've also installed remote control transmitter here, so that when your receiver is inside the coach in the main entertainment system and you're outside, if you had a TV here, you can switch channels without having to go inside and point at your system. Everything is secure and tight. You lose absolutely no room in here from the standard bay size that comes from K-Z. So, and everything's labeled and safe to go. You can lock everything down if you have to. I'll take you inside and I'll show you the controller now that is used for basically the system to turn it off and on, to monitor the different types of power that's coming in, the solar that's going out, so on and so forth. We are inside the motorhome right now, and we're looking at the main control panel and the Victron GX controller that gives you full status of everything that's happening with your inverter system. As you see, it shows you the power coming from the battery, the power going to both loads. The red spot, which is currently off right now, would be your power in when you connect to land power, and the bottom right hand corner shows the solar panels that are producing power right now. As you can see, I have two air conditioners running. They're drawing approximately 2,850 watts, and the solar panels, based on our position with the sun, are producing 2,200 and approximately 60 watts. The batteries are pulling about 800 watts right now to service the load, and the solar panels are servicing the rest. Typically in this type of a situation, you're not going to run both air conditioners continuously. You're going to go out on trips. They're going to cycle on and cycle off. So on a good sunny day with no shading, you can run 100% off grid and run whatever you like. The inverters will take you all the way up to 7,000 watts. So you could have two air conditioners, dryer, you can also have microwave going all at the same time, and the inverters will pull whatever necessary power from the batteries. Once you plug into a landline, the solar watts will go down, as it will supplement most of the watts from the landline. And anything that's needed is always automatically determined from the Victron system. I've turned both air conditioners off now, and we are drawing 62 watts of load, and the solar panels are still pulling 2,183 watts, and that's using that to charge the battery back up to 100%. The battery is taking in 2069 watts and the rest is going to loads. So the Victron system is pretty nice. It automatically takes care of everything for you. You don't have to do anything in determining, when to switch to solar, when not to. It will perfectly balance everything out to use whatever it can to give you the most efficient system.